All right, good morning. It is Saturday morning. This is Facebook Live on Brunansky's Vlog. We have got a lot to talk about today. I found a special certified rad we're going to cover. We have Friday's box office report, 2 non-spoiler movie reviews, and we're going to get into a little speculation here on the channel about what Marvel Studios is doing with a Black Widow solo movie. So we're going to give everybody a second here to hop in, and then we will get going. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. This is Brunansky's Vlog. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeremy Brunansky with Brunansky's Vlog. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea. I've got my iced tea here. I've got the box office report from this weekend. And let's go ahead and take a look at one news story then that dropped this morning. We are live right now. We are going to cover Friday's box office. So for this weekend's box office, on these Facebook Live sessions, we do like to cover the weekend box office. So what does that mean? That means that this is pretty impressive, as you'll hear in a minute. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, so don't worry. In theory, that film should have done gangbusters. This movie is so much fun. I think the rewatchability factor is super high. Wow, this was actually a fun time. I'm on board. Sign me up. Game over. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. All right, let's just get into it. Number 5, number 4, and number 3, number 2, and number 1. All right, we're back, and this is Facebook Live. This is Brunansky's Vlog. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this live right now, thank you so much. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, thank you as well. At any time during this show, if you enjoy any portion of the show, go ahead and give me that thumbs up, because it actually helps other people find that like movies, movie-related shows like this one. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube on the replay, don't forget to click that subscribe button. All right, let's jump into Friday's box office report. On this show, we do like to cover the box office results, and we always go from lowest to highest as far as earnings go. So we're going to take a look at that real quick, and then we will jump into a couple other things that are on the board here for today, which include 2 non-spoiler reviews for the movie I, Tonya and the Darkest Hour. And then also we'll do a little speculating here as far as the Black Widow solo movie is concerned that Marvel announced they're currently going to be writing and working on with Scarlett Johansson. And then we have a special certified rad that popped up on the internet. The headline kind of, not the headline, but whoever retweeted it or whatever it was, it caught my attention and it confused me. And then I was like, let me research this and find out why I'm confused. And we'll talk about that and why I was confused in a little bit. But first, let's jump into what happened in Friday's box office. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. Coming in from number 5 to number 1 for the earners. Coming in at number 5 is Proud Mary at $3,175,000. Insidious: The Last Key at $3,424,000. The Commuter at $4,560,000. Coming in at number 2 is The Post with $5,900,000. And coming in at number 1, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle at $6,125,000. So we have a few brand new titles in the top 5 that were just dropped in theaters this weekend. Those movies being Proud Mary, The Commuter, and The Post. So I'm not sure. Let me take a look real quick, because I saw some early reviews online pop up for The Commuter, but I didn't see anything for Proud Mary. So let me just take a look real quick at how that's doing on Rotten Tomatoes, because it looks fun. It looks like a fun action flick. So I was curious to see kind of how that was going to turn out. And then when I didn't see any like early press stuff for it, I was like, did they not have screenings? That's weird. But Proud Mary right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, the tomato meter is giving it a 27% rotten, but the audience score is giving it a 60% fresh. So there you go. In a mixture of things, it's not doing great, but as far as people who paid to see the film, they're enjoying it. So you might want to check that out if you enjoy action flicks, because this looks like it's like the female John Wick, which I can totally get behind. So you may want to check that out. I know I want to see it. Insidious: The Last Key, as we talked about that before. I'm not really a horror guy, so I don't know what's going on in this franchise, but it's still in the top 5, 2 weeks in a row. The Commuter, Liam Neeson, I feel like his action movies are always going to bring people into the theater. So, hey, there it is. But from what I've seen so far, it hasn't really been getting like this is an incredible action movie like what the original Taken was. It's just kind of like, yep, it's another Liam Neeson action movie. So I still want to see it, but you have to wait for my review on that. The Post, Steven Spielberg's new movie with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. A big contender come Oscar time because it was early release for consideration back in December. So it met the cutoff there, but then for the general audiences, it just dropped. So I'm excited to see The Post. And as you guys know, if you're faithful watchers of the show, I thoroughly enjoyed and loved Jumanji. It was just such a fun and well-written film for how a board game becomes a video game, and then what life would be like inside of a video game trying to survive all the levels. Super fun. If you haven't seen Jumanji yet, definitely recommend checking it out. So out of the top 5, I'm not really too surprised. I'm actually more surprised that The Post is number 2 right now. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to equate to staying in the top 5 all the way through the weekend. We could see that switch positions come Monday when we look at the full weekend box office, right? But hey, The Post is in it. It's beating out The Commuter and Proud Mary, 2 action flicks. So hey, we'll have to check it out and see. Coming in at the rest of the top 10, if there's any surprises, The Greatest Showman is coming in at number 6, The Last Jedi 7, Pitch Perfect, The Darkest Hour, and Paddington 2. I think I'm more surprised that Paddington 2 wasn't in the top 5. But then again, I think what we'll see come Monday, and I could be wrong, but what I think come Monday is we're actually going to see Paddington 2 move into the top 5 because it's a family movie, right? So Saturday and Sunday, usually the time you spend with family. So I see more people getting out to the theater to see it Saturday, today, and tomorrow to actually like bump that ticket sale up to possibly get it into the top 5 on Monday. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but we'll have to wait and see there. And then, hopefully, right? It's getting pretty good, solid word of mouth right now. Everybody who saw the first one seemed to give it high praise. So I'm sure the second one will not disappoint. But if you have any comments on the top 5, if you have any comments on the top 10 or Paddington 2, go ahead and throw your comments below in the comments section. And if you're watching this on YouTube, same thing for you on the replay. Go ahead and throw it in the comments and get that conversation started. Now we are going to go ahead and move into some non-spoiler reviews. Now the full reviews are going to go up Monday on Monday's show for The Darkest Hour and I, Tonya. But I did want to give you just a quick little kind of overview in case you had any inclinations towards seeing these films this weekend. I, Tonya, based on the story of Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan from 1994 when Nancy gets her leg smashed in, right? This is a really, I was surprised at how comical this film was. Like, it really caught me off guard at how much I was laughing. When I left the theater, I was a little like, was I supposed to be laughing as much as I was in this film? Because I didn't think that a story about a woman getting her leg bashed in at the Olympics. I mean, first of all, you never really think of figure skating as like a dangerous, like people are going to go crazy on each other kind of like thing, right? Like sabotage isn't really something that I thought of, at least, when it comes to women's figure skating. So when that happened, it really kind of caught the world by surprise and was just like, why would someone do that to a women's figure skater? And this film kind of explores the why, and it kind of gives several different viewpoints, if you will, regarding kind of like the events, where everyone's mind was at during everything, and so on and so forth. So it's a really good film. I actually really loved it. Margot Robbie, phenomenal. Allison Janney, phenomenal. Paul Walter Hauser plays one of the best friends, and he just stole the film for me as far as the comedy goes. But the two standouts were Margot Robbie and Allison Janney. They knocked it out of the park. I definitely recommend you guys check out I, Tonya if you have any inclination in seeing a film based on real life events. Second film based on real life events, and the third film of its kind, The Darkest Hour. So I saw Churchill, and if you've been following my reviews for a while, before I started this channel, right, I've been writing movie reviews. And so I wrote the review for Churchill back when it came out last year. And then I went and saw Dunkirk and got that review up, and now The Darkest Hour. All three of these films basically covering the same events leading up to the battle on Dunkirk, each one telling a completely different story, even though two of the three of these films deal with Churchill, his appointment to be prime minister, and kind of what life was like for him leading up to the infamous speech that he gave, right? So The Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman really kind of looks at the more human side of who he is as a person, not as a family man or not as a prime minister, but who the character of Churchill was, and then kind of the reluctance that the parties in power as well as the king had in appointing him to prime minister and why. It's a really good film. I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it, considering this is the third film of its kind that I've seen. But Gary Oldman, absolutely phenomenal, 100% transformation. This is like, I walked out and I was like, and I know people might freak out when I say this, but it was like Daniel Day-Lewis, how he just goes into a character and absorbs everything in that character and he disappears into that character he's playing. That's how I felt with Gary Oldman in this role. Like, I didn't even half the time realize I was watching Gary Oldman. He does that great of a job. Absolutely fantastic. If you like biopics, again, 2 movies to check out this weekend for you guys. The full reviews will go up Monday for both I, Tonya and Darkest Hour, but definitely check both out if you like dramatic biopics. So there's my non-spoiler review for both of those films. And we're going to go ahead now and move into a little certified rad segment I found, and then we'll get into the speculation for Black Widow. But I was kind of scrolling through my Twitter feed, and I saw this post that said kids in Harlem are going to go see Black Panther, or now kids in Harlem will go see Black Panther, something to that effect. And I was like, why wouldn't they? Like, why wouldn't kids go see a Marvel movie? It's a superhero movie. Like, I was confused when I read it, so I pulled up Google, was like, kids in Harlem seeing Black Panther. And like all of a sudden a whole bunch of articles popped up and I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. So this is super cool. So I was like, certified rad for Monday is already done. It's already taken care of. So that's in the bag. But I was like, we can definitely throw this up on Saturday's show, faux show. So what happened is there was a guy who decided he was going to start a GoFundMe account to try and raise enough money to do like a field trip with chaperones to take a bunch of kids in Harlem to go see this film, Black Panther, that's coming out next month, right? And so he started a GoFundMe campaign to help 300 kids see the movie, and he raised over $35,000. So he's going to be able to take even more. He wanted to take 300, and he was shooting for a goal of $10,000, according to the article. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the article link in the show notes below, in the description box below on YouTube Replay. I'll go ahead and throw the article link in the Facebook Live comment section as well. So give me a second for that. But he decided he was going to like try and get this thing going. And lo and behold, he well past exceeded his goal. So even more kids are going to be able to go see this film now that like he was able to raise over $30,000. It's absolutely crazy how much money this guy was able to raise. It's super awesome crazy, but totally like people coming together to help the community to really show the importance and the social importance of this film. Absolutely undeniable. And this guy stepped up to the plate and was like, I'm going to try and get some money together from folks to take a whole bunch of kids that probably wouldn't be able to afford a movie in New York to go see this film, to celebrate the cultural importance, as well as just to give them a fun day at the movies, because it's a Marvel movie, it's a superhero movie, you know it's going to be fun, and I think it's super awesome. So check out the link below. It's a Huffington Post link. If you're watching this on Facebook Live right now, it's in the comments. I just posted it. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, just expand the description box below, and the link will be right there for you, and you can check that out. So kudos to this gentleman in New York who raised a bunch of money, $35,000, more than $35,000, to take a bunch of kids in Harlem to see Black Panther. And then according to the article, it goes on to say like he's going to be donating like a bunch of money as well. And he goes into the importance of why he felt he needed to raise this money and what he's going to be doing with the money since he's got so much more than he needed for the goal that he set. It's a really good article. It's from the Huffington Post, so you can check that out, like I said. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, it's in the comments right now. You can just click that link and go to it. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, just expand the description box and blah-dow right there. All right. And that is certified rad for Saturday. So let's go ahead now and jump into the speculation for Marvel. Because Marvel announced this past week that they are going to be doing a solo Black Widow movie. And I know a lot of people are like, we've been waiting forever for this film. Yes, we have. But I think now it might be the most appropriately timed if, big if, right? Speculation station here. I don't know anything. We're just speculating on what could be happening with the story going forward after Infinity War. So if Infinity War turns out to be like the ending and the big reveal that not all of the Avengers are actually the Avengers, and it's more along the lines of something like Secret Wars, which if you aren't familiar with it, there is this thing called Secret Wars where aliens that can transform, right, they take over some of the Avengers and they pretend to be the Avengers, and then it's a big reveal, and it's like, now who can we trust? We don't know if you're an alien. We don't know if you're actually the person that you say you are. So there's a lot of like speculation that we could be moving towards a Secret Wars kind of storyline going forward past Avengers Infinity War, which if that's the case, which it could be the case, then it makes sense that we would have a Black Widow film after the fact if Black Widow actually is the human that she says she is. And I bring that back to early Iron Man movies with Sam Jackson and how Nick Fury is always watching Tony. Because Tony, for the longest time, has been said to be the biggest villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's the one that did Ultron. Everything he does kind of ends up messing things up. So if it turns out that he's actually not Tony Stark Iron Man, he's actually this alien imposter, and the real Iron Man is somewhere else, then it makes sense that Nick Fury would have been watching him. Nick Fury disappears and shows up later in Age of Ultron just to talk to Tony. He has Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, since Iron Man 2 watching him. So it could just show that, like, Nick Fury, since he's supposed to be the guy with, you know, the vision that sees well past what everybody else can see, like the chess master of this whole franchise, it would make sense to me if Iron Man actually turns out to be an alien imposter, because we've been watching his moves and his motives since Iron Man 2, when Black Widow was introduced to be his like personal assistant and to keep a close eye on him. So I think that's pretty cool. I think now it makes sense because now we can really dive into some of the backstory of what Black Widow was doing since Iron Man 2 going forward, who they've been watching. I feel like it could be a great like spy thriller of her trying to decipher who's real and who's not. So I know a lot of people are like, this is way overdue. The time has passed. I think the timing is actually perfect, because if it does lead into Secret Wars and she has been the spy that's been keeping track of everybody, because remember, in Civil War, she didn't go with, like, she was helping Steve Rogers, like, get away, right? Towards the end, like, she stops Black Panther so they can get in the Quinjet and take off. And then in, man, I'm blanking so hard today. Winter Soldier, she's following Steve around and trying to like help him and watching him. So has she really been like there to help, or has she been there to observe to find out who's real and who isn't? Because maybe Nick Fury has been watching these reports, because we know Captain Marvel, it takes place in the 90s. So has Nick Fury been aware that there's been this alien invasion since Captain Marvel's time, which is going to be coming out soon, and he's just been trying to figure out who is real and who isn't this entire time? There's a whole lot of options that are available with this story, and I think now is the perfect time, if that's kind of where the story goes in my head, if that's where the story goes, is to like, why now all of a sudden we get a Black Widow film? And I think that could be why. So we can get some backstory on what S.H.I.E.L.D., right? S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury and Scarlet, or Black Widow and Nick Fury have been doing this entire time to monitor them, to show that like these aliens haven't been just running amok without some type of watch on them, but Nick Fury and Black Widow have been watching them, and now we're going to get a little bit more backstory on Black Widow's adventures leading up to all of these events and what's going to happen going forward. So I think it's really cool. I think there's a lot of possibility for this film, and I'm super excited to see Avengers Infinity War and to see kind of what the big reveal is going to be for that, because we know in every Avengers movie, it's like that's the end of a chapter of a book. Like you get up to Avengers, and then like now there's a new segment going on. You get up to Age of Ultron. Now we have a new story going on. Infinity War, same thing. There's going to be a new set of stories going on that continue to drive the Marvel Cinematic Universe forward so it doesn't ever feel like the same thing redone over and over and over, which I think is pretty cool. So comment below with your thoughts about the Black Widow movie. Comment below if you're excited for it, what you think about my theory. Am I off, like, super out in the stratosphere, like nowhere even near the possibilities of realism? Or do you think I could be getting close to something? What are your ideas for it? Are you excited? That's what the comment section's for. Go ahead and leave those comments, and then we can keep that conversation going. All right, let me just check the board here to see if we have anything right now before we sign off. Give me 1 second. Ba-da-ba-ba-dum-bum. All right. Nothing yet. All right, no worries. So that is Facebook Live for Saturday. Thank you guys so much for watching Brunansky's Vlog live here on Facebook. Appreciate it. If you're watching this on the replay, I appreciate you guys as well. Again, don't forget, if you enjoyed any portion of this, give me that thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube replay, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content coming down the pipe. Monday, we'll be back with a brand new episode, the second episode of Season 2 at 10 a.m. PST, and then right after that, get ready for another Facebook Live session where we look at the weekend box office, plus maybe 1 or 2 news stories that dropped in between today and Monday. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much again for watching Brunansky's Vlog here on Facebook Live, as well as everybody who's watching it on the YouTube replay. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the movies that you're going to be going out and seeing. And again, if you're excited about I, Tonya and Darkest Hour, I do recommend you see both of those on the big screen. And if you've seen Paddington 2, go ahead and leave those comments below and let us know what you thought about that one as well. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I will see you guys back here on Monday. And until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend with friends, family, and loved ones. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky, and you've just finished watching a Facebook Live replay. Now, if you enjoyed that, you may also want to check out the weekly show playlist, as well as the movie news playlist, which covers just the news segments from every Monday's episode. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe. We'll see you guys next Monday right here on YouTube for a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog at 10 a.m. PST. Have a great week. Take care.